Amsideria, Amsiderian, Amsideria the Flying Man, the Amsiderian Gazette. What does Amsideria even mean? My name is Reuby and you're watching Amsideria. What does that mean? It's a question I get a lot. The simple answer? It means nothing. But nothing can mean different things to different people, depending on our perspective of the world. Within the word nothing lies endless perceptions of reality, a void with no end in sight. How can nothing represent an abundance of thought and the absence of thought at the same time? Well, to understand this idea, let's look at the famous thought experiment by Erwin Schrödinger, Schrödinger's cat. More popular among those who study quantum physics and pretentious people on the internet who want to sound intelligent, like me. Without going into the nitty-gritty, the experiment goes something like this. A cat, a flask of poison, and a radioactive source are placed in a box and sealed. Inside the box, there's a Geiger counter to monitor radiation levels. If the Geiger counter detects an increase in radioactivity, the flask of poison shatters, releasing the poison and killing the cat. If there is no increase in radioactivity, the flask stays intact and the cat remains alive. So, until we open the sealed box, we don't actually know whether the cat is alive or dead. Therefore, the cat is considered to be both dead and alive at the same time. The thought experiment is often used to illustrate how quantum particles can exist in multiple states at once. So, when I say Amsideria means nothing, and within nothing lies endless possibilities and absence of thought, I'm referring to this experiment. The word Amsideria has no inherent meaning. Only you give it meaning. I lost you, didn't I? Okay. Let's try this again. Let's start at the beginning. The idea for Amsideria started way back when I was around 15 years old, in my second year of high school. In a previous video, I mentioned how I started making comics when I was around 11. If you haven't seen that one, go check it out. Around this time, I had discovered American comics and fallen in love with their fantastical stories, and they influenced my art style a lot. I wasn't a showy character in high school, still not today, but people always say I stand out. I can never figure out why. In my head, I was just a quiet, reserved kid, a bit of a weirdo, not popular, not bullied, just in my own world. But those who knew me really knew me. Probably because I could draw beautiful, curvaceous women better than most of my peers. And since we were stuck in a boys-only boarding school, well, let's just say I made a name for myself. A lot of my sketchbooks mysteriously went missing. At the time, I was heavily into American comics, especially the superhero stuff. Artists like Michael Lane Turner inspired me a lot, mainly because he could draw incredibly sexy women. What can I say? The hormones were in full control. It didn't help that my art teacher encouraged us to leave all shame behind and draw whatever came to mind, as long as it wasn't graphic or crude. Another thing that helped, my high school library had a wealth of historical and art books to study. It was my favorite place in the whole school, full of knowledge that fueled my creativity. It was during this time, when I was really starting to grow creatively, that the idea for Amsideria first came to mind. The word itself is completely made up, and it took years for me to figure out what I actually wanted to do with it. Over the years, I've had many ideas about what Amsideria could be, but one thing has always remained constant. It's a fictional place, a city, a country, maybe even more, within Africa. And because the word has no meaning, it can morph with each story. It can be everything. The older I get, the more intrigued I am by how the world works, the global economic systems, why humans seem to do everything except what's in their best interest, political structures, and how all of this affects us from an African perspective. Amsideria remains an ambiguous, imaginary place that the reader or viewer can attach their meaning to. That's how I plan to use it, to tell different stories, highlight different experiences from an African perspective. The first story, Amsideria, the Flying Man, captures Africa during the height of colonialism and the World War I. It follows a kingdom called Amsideria, and through its characters explores the complexity that gave rise to modern Africa. You can follow the production of Amsideria, the Flying Man in detail by signing up for our exclusive weekly publication, the Amsiderian Gazette. There, I'll take you behind the scenes and show you what it takes to bring this project to life. You'll also get access to concept art, wallpapers, and world-building lore about the kingdom of Amsideria. Over the coming weeks and months, you'll get to know the characters intimately, their backstories, the design choices, and watch the project take shape. Consider joining the Amsiderian Gazette and becoming part of our Geminis. Our Geminis make it possible to bring these creative ideas to life. So, what does Amsideria mean? Nothing. It means nothing at all. Or maybe it means whatever you want it to mean. My name is Ru Atiti, and you've been watching Little Reuby.